Bentley builds the kind of grand tourers that epitomize performance, advanced technology, comfort and heritage. China is one of Bentley's biggest potential markets, and this is the brand new Flying Spur. I've come all the way to Beijing to find out just exactly what it's like driving this car.
China might be an attractive market for a Bentley sales team intent on extending the brand's footprint, but it's not an easy country to drive in. City traffic is often gridlocked, and some of the rural roads make even our potholed routes look splendid. Talking of which, the Flying Spur looks splendid too.
The Flying Spur is a large and imposing car, well over 5 meters long, more than 2 meters wide, and weighs 2.5 tons, and yet it looks quite athletic. It has nice, crisp styling lines, it has a very distinctive front end, and it's the kind of car that promises a really distinctive and special driving experience.
The Flying Spur's combination of classic and contemporary styling looks just right. Its chiseled lines, the massive meshed front grille, the narrow side glass apertures and the muscular bulges over the rear wheel arches contribute to a presence that's imposing and powerful, but also clean and current. Yes, it's big, but in a handsome and distinctive way. That's also true of the cabin. With a car as spacious and as lavishly equipped as this, it's a toss-up whether one should be behind the wheel or where I am right now at the back of the car. And as you can see, it is super spacious and super comfortable. Of course, it's not just an interior of a car. With these screens and a multimedia sound system, you can turn this into a home theatre on the move, complete with, optionally of course, a very British sound system by Name Audio. Or if you're the business kind of person, or the executive on the move if you like, then this can become a very effective mobile office. Either way, I'd prefer to be up front there because dynamically, this is a great car. In line with its aristocratic status, the Bentley is comprehensively kitted out, offering levels of luxury best described as lavish. But there's also a sense of oh-so-British understatement that adds to the poshness of it all. That said, there's something distinctly pugilistic about its power plant.
The new Bentley Flying Spur is the most powerful car Bentley has ever built, and the reason for it is right here under the bonnet. A W12 engine, 6-litre capacity, the power output 460 kilowatt linked to 800 newton meters of torque, and all that urge being delivered to all 4 wheels.
The rest of the drivetrain matches the W12 for sophistication. Rear-biased all-wheel drive with a 60/40 rear-front torque split, 4-way adjustable air damping, and an 8-speed automatic gearbox with manual override and shift paddles mounted behind the steering wheel. You'd think because this is a big and heavy car that the Bentley Flying Spur would not be ideal on the narrow and twisty rural Chinese roads that we're on at the moment. But in fact, quite surprisingly, it's the opposite that's true here. Of course, we have a lot of power to propel this 2.5-ton car around the corners, and as a result, the 0 to 100 time an astonishing 4.6 seconds. The 0 to 160 kilometers an hour coming up in 9.5 seconds, and the top speed 322 kilometers an hour. Of course, not the kind of speed we're going to be able to achieve here. On the handling side, this is a much nimbler car than you'd expect. 2.5 tons, admittedly, and a suspension that's been softened in this model, but the monocoque is so rigid and the four-wheel drive traction so predictable that it really is like threading a needle through a piece of fabric when you go around corners on a mountain pass such as this. Very impressive car indeed, and really one of those cars that finds a great compromise between sporting handling on the one side and comfort and control on the other. And if you need to go quickly, you can do that too. A compelling mix then of tradition and technology, of plummy poshness and keen dynamics. But is it the right car for these eco-driven times?
With so much emphasis on smaller cars, lower weight and more efficient engines, one would have thought that there wasn't really a place on the world automotive market for a car like the Flying Spur. But it's quite obvious that there is a demand for cars like this, and the proof of it is right here next to me. Interestingly enough, a British brand owned by a German company launching a car in China doesn't really make that much sense either. But then China is one of those burgeoning markets that is going to be very attractive to a car like this. And having driven it, I can tell you that from behind the wheel, it's certainly not only an imposing and stunning car to drive, but very much an entertaining one as well.
A unique and hugely powerful W12 engine, a brand rich in heritage, and an impressive array of technology are among the many attractions of this regal sedan. Dynamically entertaining yet always poised and composed, this is the epitome of luxury motoring, even if its R4 million asking price will put it out of reach of most mortals.